bing, 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 bing. Hi folks, Father Columba here. I'm a Franciscan friar of the Renewal, and I'm a priest. I'm a Catholic priest. Today I want to talk to you, actually it's a follow-up from another video. So it was 10 different thought patterns that are very negative. I'm just going to get my list. Boom. So this is based on the work of a guy called David Burns. So he lists a couple of different things, and lots of them there's crossover between them. So you could kind of, if you get a certain thought, it could fit in any of these categories. Number 1, all or nothing thinking. Number 2, overgeneralization. Number 3, a mental filter or over focus on the negative. Number 4, disqualifying the positive. We love that one in Ireland. Oh, this old thing. This old habit, this old beard, it's nothing. It's just stuck it on. Number 5, jump into conclusions. That breaks into 2 different forms. One is kind of mind reading, where I think I know what you're thinking, but I have no idea or feeling. And the other part of that is fortune telling, where I think I can tell the future, and usually it's like super negative, and that's our local dog barking. Okay, number 6, magnification or minimization. So magnification, over-focusing on the flaws and really zooming in on them and thinking that's me, I'm just my flaws. And then minimization is often applied to, when I look at my talents, which is like the disqualifying the positive, and I just ignore my talents and my gifts and my good points, and I just focus on the negatives. You can also flip that and reverse it, so you can magnify the good stuff, you get all arrogant, and minimize your bad stuff. Number 7, emotional reasoning. That's where I'm not actually using my intellect to reason things out soberly. I'm actually using my emotions and mistaking that for intellectual reasoning. Then the shoulds and musts. I must, I should, I have to. All that crack. Number 9, labeling and mislabeling. Can do it to yourself, can do it to others, can do it to God. Calling people names and then reducing them to that label. Personalization, the mother of guilt. So you take everything personally, whether that means you're getting offended by everything. Oh, he said this, it must mean that he thinks this about me. Or it can be somebody else, you personalize somebody else's behaviors. So your dad acts embarrassingly and you feel like it's your embarrassment. Did you ever have that one? Oh my gosh, there's something going on outside. Okay, that's the main ones. Okay, so the last one there's personalization. So there's a very simple process. Firstly, you want to write down the stinking thinking. Write down those ideas that are causing you trouble, the distorted thinking. The actual thought. So let's say your kid got in trouble in school, okay, and you're having to deal with that and talk with them and see where that goes. But how it's impacting you, and you're just killing yourself thinking that you're a terrible parent. This is your fault. And it gets into like how you feel about yourself, like the shame factor. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad parent. I'm a failure. Okay, just don't, no judgment, no trying to fix that. Just write it down. Okay, and go for it. If it's 2 pages, no bother. You just let that fly. Number 2, take out your list of those forms of distorted thinking. Okay, get your pen again, and you're going to reread over what you have written. Now, if I find something and I think that might be one of those distorted thinking, I'll underline the phrase. Say, right. And then I'll look at my list and say, okay, this is... something about this isn't good. So I just said, Joey got in trouble in school. I must be such a useless parent. Okay, so I'm looking through the list. So firstly, there's a bit of all or nothing thinking there. So I'll write, all, short for all or nothing thinking. Because I'm thinking, either I'm an amazing parent or I'm a terrible parent. Okay, so there's some of that going on. Over focus on the negative. Yeah, because maybe like Joey gets positive stuff all the time, but I just don't see it. I'm so focused on this negative, like personalization. This is the one I'm like, bing, 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 bing. Personalization. He had some behaviors, imaginary Joey, and I, his imaginary parent, I'm taking it personally, meaning this defines me. I'm a bad parent because he acted out. So I've scribbled it on the page, and then after I've written out my thoughts on myself, then I've underlined them, I've scribbled over. At the end, I might actually write, okay, personalization, right? That's flaw number 1 that I've spotted. So I'm going to go through my whole thing, underlining the bits that seem a bit off, looking through my list and seeing, okay, what's off here? Now, you could just take one of them, guys. Okay, you don't have to do the whole thing. That might be a bit overwhelming. Just take one of them, take a few of them, whatever. And then you write them out then at the end. So, okay, a personalization with regards to this first line. So I'm going to write that at the end. And then I'm going to write the truth. What is the actual truth? What's the, if I engage a bit of compassion, a bit of reason, if I engage the gospel, I let the Lord speak to my heart, what's the actual truth about me? Am I a complete disaster failure of a parent because my kid acted up in school? No. But right now we have this feeling that we're the disaster of the parent. And here's the thing, guys, if we say that to ourselves, we don't deal with this thought and we just let it play over and over and over in my head. Oh my gosh. And every time we think of Joey and this thing, it's like, and then we're just attacking ourselves, if you're a parent, like that's your primary job. Even if you have a job during the day, like raising these immortal beings, who will live forever in heaven, and you're preparing them for heaven. And like, it's a really big deal that you're being their parent. So if you are attacking the one who's got that job, that God has assigned you this job to be their parent, and you are attacking that person yourself, that's not very nice. So anyway, back to the principles. First thing is you want to write out your thinking, spotting what's distorted in there. Number 2, you go through it and you name the distortions out of this list of 10. Number 3, you then write out the truth that counteracts that lie. We have to counteract the lie because all of these things are lies. They're exaggerations or minimizations or something, but they're not fully in line with God's heart. They're not fully in line with what's actually happening in your life. It's not a proper description of you or of the people around you. And then hand it over to God if you like. Say a little prayer. God, help me to eliminate this completely and entirely from my life. And what Burns testifies to is that as you do this, especially if you do struggle with some depression, some anxiety, the thinking, his proposal is, the thinking is at the root of the emotional disturbance of depression or anxiety. So if you get the thinking right, then the feeling will actually follow because you're no longer attacking yourself perpetually. So there you go. My apologies if anyone was waiting overly long. Hopefully we can link these 2 videos together so they can be watched back to back. You could video binge for like 15 minutes on these 2. Okay. God bless you guys. Have a good one. Bye.